Your name?
My name is Terrence Bartholomew Chapin.
What do you do for a living?
I'm the founder, CEO, and self-appointed vice president of my one-man startup company, Happily Ever After, turning any shy toad into Prince Charming. Proud to say we currently boast a 98.3 successful relationship retention rate.
Where is your business located?
While I'm in talks with numerous international investors, Happily is still run out of my home office in 21 Maple Street in Fairview, Midlands.
Who are your neighbors?
My neighbor to one side, at 19 Maple, is Gene Balea, who's famous in the neighborhood for his 2-foot pet pythons, Carucci and Fogel. On the other side were the Parks, Andy, Lee, and Sydney, who lived at 23 Maple Street until Sydney's death. And then one house down was the Duran residents, Hayden and Jesse, at 25 Maple Street.
How well did you know Sydney Park and Jesse Duran?
Well, my work calls for me to travel a lot. As you may guess, my line of work is pretty competitive, so it's important to get the brand name out there. So I didn't really know them too well. Still, I saw them a bit when I was at home or working at my home office.
Now, Mr. Chapin, how are you involved in today's case?
I went to investigate the Parks home on August 18th after hearing a loud bang.
What were you doing in August of 2010?
Well, beach season is a popular time of year for people to realize that they may be in need of my particular skill set. So instead of traveling, I was mainly at my home office doing the bookkeeping to register the flood of new clients.
While working at home, how often did you see Sydney and Jesse?
It seemed like they were always running around outside my office, playing, chasing each other with toy guns.
What were they playing?
I couldn't tell. It looked like tag or cops and robbers, but some variation that involved using toy guns.
What were you doing the night of August 17, 2010?
I was actually working on getting my mixology degree so that I could create my new business, an adult beverage business, mixing business with pleasure. For our final project, we needed to create a completely new signature drink. I was thinking of doing something that involved mixing vodka and Red Bull, so I was working on that all night.
How'd that night go?
Well, it took a lot of time and a lot of patience, but I was finally able to perfect my new drink, Love Potion number 10.
Mr. Chapin, when did you wake up on August 18th?
I woke up at 9:45 a.m.
And what caused you to wake up?
I heard a loud bang coming from the direction of the Parks home.
What did you do after you heard the loud bang?
I went to the Parks to check if everything was all right. It was weird. I could have sworn I heard something crazy, but there weren't any police or ambulances there.
What could you see when you looked through the window?
When I looked through the window, I was able to see Sydney Park lying on the ground, and she wasn't moving.
From what you could see, why was Sydney laying on the ground?
It was clear she was hurt. There was blood all around her.
Who else was in the living room with Sydney?
I didn't see anyone else.
What did you do next?
I called 911.
What time did you call 911?
9:53.
Now at this point, how much of time had passed since the gunshot went off?
9 minutes.
After you called 911, what did you do?
I wasn't sure what had happened to Sydney. I wasn't really sure what had happened at all. But I could tell Sydney was hurt, and I knew I at least had to try to help.
Did you make any noise when you were going inside the house?
Listen, I'd like to think I'm Prince Charming brave, but I'm not stupid. I didn't know if there was some burglar or loon in there, so I knew I had to go stealth mode for this one. I just went in through the front door as quietly as I could.
Once you were inside the house, where exactly was Sydney located?
She was in the living room between the couch and the coffee table.
What did you do?
I started to go over to check on Sydney, but then I heard a voice from the other room. That's how I knew it wasn't just me and Sydney in there.
What exactly did you hear?
I didn't hear much of anything, but the voice sounded very calm.
Who was talking?
After a few seconds, I found out it was Jessie Duran because she just walked right into the room talking on a cell phone.
Now, how much of the conversation did you hear?
I heard her say the same page, but nothing else.
What did you do after you heard Jessie say the same page?
She hung up the phone as soon as she saw me and didn't say anything else.
How would you describe Jessie?
She seemed calm and expressionless, really. She was silent, just standing there looking at me. She wasn't crying or hyperventilating or anything.
What did Jessie say to you?
After I said I'd call the ambulance, Jessie just said, "She's dead."
At any point did Jessie say that she called an ambulance?
No.
What did you do after Jessie said Sydney was dead?
I had to be sure, so I hovered my hand over Sydney's mouth to check if she was still breathing. I didn't feel anything.
How did you respond to Jessie after she told you Sydney was dead?
I tried to comfort her, but she still just looked so distant.
What happened next?
I saw a gun on the ground, and I went to go pick it up, but then I stopped.
Why would you stop?
Jessie told me not to touch it. The way she said it, I know she couldn't have been much older than 10, but something about the way she said it just scared me.
What did you do after Jessie scared you?
I asked what happened.
What is the first thing that Jessie said when you asked what happened?
Jessie said, "I did this."
Thank you, Mr. Chapin. No further questions, Your Honor.